You know, I never really thought of this, but my oldest son is named after my wife's favorite race car driver, Ayrton Senna. So yeah, my son's name is Ayrton. Thing I never thought about was the fact that, well, I don't know the guy, and I've only ever been exposed to him in highlights, accounts, and incredible videos of him racing through the streets of Monaco faster than anyone has ever intended to. It's kind of weird, right? Being a normal guy to have a kid named after someone you don't really know, which is perfectly okay because the name is a great name. My son, Ayrton, is also the only Ayrton I actually know, and I love that. But who exactly was Ayrton Senna? I don't want to go over any bios, nothing like that. Thankfully, McLaren made a recent post on their app about who he really was when the lights were out. No, not those kind of lights, but the lights as in camera and spotlight. Full disclosure, this video is based on their article, so download the app. It's free. This is not a plug. I think you should download the app of your favorite team if they have one. It's always worth it. Ayrton Senna was notoriously tense to get along with. He was somewhat mercurial on the track and at times arrogant. He never shied away from berating a driver that acted out of his best interest. But his tone of voice, soft and straight-line speaking, could captivate. He was as intimidating to the media as he was to other drivers. But as cutting as he was on the track, he was the most passionate and careful for the safety of everyone in the sport. He famously ran to turn off the engine of Eric Comas's car in Spa, but it wasn't the only time he had done something like that. He came to the aid of Gerhard Berger in Estoril and was first on the scene of a crash involving Martin Donnelly in Jerez. Ayrton Senna was warm to fans, especially the young ones. He was at his most comfortable with family and at home in Brazil. He was truly loved by his sister, parents, and girlfriend in a vulnerable way, and was always in a better mood with family present than without them. He had a home in Brazil, but was also uniquely comfortable in his second home in Portugal. Senna loved playing games with family. He was a bit of a cheeky player at times, cheating, joking, bending rules, but ultimately making people laugh. Gerhard Berger and Senna were great friends, and Berger brought out the humorous side in Senna. Playing jokes and pranks on one another, including some incidents involving rotten cheese in the air vents and a box of frogs released in a hotel room. He would fool with people's drinks, making them spicy without notice, or playfully sabotaging a wallet full of credit cards. Gerhard Berger was so close to Senna, in fact, that he went to see him at the Bologna hospital following his fatal crash at the San Marino Grand Prix. Senna was also a fan of model aircraft and helicopters, often spending some of his downtime flying them for leisure. This was something he picked up after being trained quickly by a local model builder in Adelaide in 1985. Senna had a very quiet existence, an ethereal sense of calm beyond the track. He had a quiet, contemplative focus about himself, and when he wasn't enjoying moments of humor with those closest to him, he was a man that came off to others as peaceful, and in many ways spiritual to those who directly interacted with him. He was a man of such extreme magnitude and excellence that he was both motorsport royalty, but human on a full and complete depth. So what do I think of Senna? I probably wouldn't like my drinks being spiked, or my credit and debit cards getting glued together. I probably wouldn't understand the desire to cheat or bend the rules at simple table games in his favor. But his kind nature towards children is lovely, as is his charitable work, and paramount concern for safety. His quiet and distilled living would be a delight on a holiday afternoon. But I can't imagine that everyone would love him. He was human, not a saint. He did have rivals and enemies, but admirers as well. I think the takeaway is ultimately, when learning about someone, it might be worthwhile to not just always take them in as a tall tale of a legend. Heroes were human after all. And in discovering and contemplating their humanity, that makes us all a bit more aware of ourselves. My son, as I said, has his name, and that's more than enough of an impression to make on me. Were it not for Senna, my son would have a different name. And whoever Senna truly was, his name lives on in my boy, Ayrton, and Ayrton is loved. That's kind of a cool legacy.
Yes! Yes! Scott, do your best. First goal! First goal!
Dude, you're on fire today. You're playing so good.